Hello there, this is Patricia from Pinky's World. Today I am making a lovely little bag for a wee gift for my mother-in-law. I usually send her up our favourite chocolate, which is Fry's chocolate cream, but I also love to wrap it up really nicely. So I decided to make one of these lovely wee handbags. Really simple but really easy to make. I figured about with different designs of it, and I know there is people who have made them and the folds is all chunky inside. I didn't want that. I just wanted the basic wee shape and it to look all pretty. So I have used the daisy punches, the large and the smaller one. I have used this lovely stamp set, Butterfly Gala, which keeps making an appearance with me. This time I'm going to go with Gorgeous Grapes, so and the lovely Brights DSP to go with it. This is the new design this year and it is just beautiful. I've also used some lovely new ribbon. It comes in the flowers for every season and you get three different types. You get this lovely white linen. This one is the gingham, like a green just jade gingham, so that goes with the neon colours as well. And then the lovely baker's twine, which is like kind of a misty moonlight going through it. So it's all lovely stuff, but the one I'm using today is the white one. So let's get on the baker's twine. Sorry. So what do we need to do first? You need this and you need this. So we'll start off with the card, and you're going to need a piece of card that measures 11 inches by 8 1/4. So that's the width of an A4 sheet if you're in the UK, and just cut a wee bit off the top of it. So measure up to 11 inches and cut your bit off. Hold on to that because you might use it for something. Then you're going to need, I went ahead and punched the two bigger flowers. I'm going to be punching the smaller one later to build these up. You're going to need 2 pieces of the DSP, and they need to measure 4 6/8 by 3 1/2, and make sure your design's going the right way. And look at the other side, it's like a real denim effect, which will make a completely different look to the bag. So it gives you lots of choices. Great for having at craft fairs and stuff when they eventually get started up again. I know a lot of people love to do the craft fairs. So you need 2 of those. I'm waffling on here. You also need 4 of these. These are going to be the wee parts that stick here, and you're going to cut this wee one out of the leftover of this, so you don't need to panic about it just yet. So let's see if we can get on with this without messing it up. Keep those safe, do not lose them. Keep these safe. We're going to do our scoring first to get that out of the way and get all our sorting out done. So I need my big scoreboard today, and we're going to start with the 11-inch side. And you need to score it at, I can get this to sit straight for 5 minutes. Start off with your broad ball end of the 2 and score it at 1 inch. Just make sure it's well butted up, not like me. 4 3/4 inches. 6 1/4 and 10 inches. And then spin it round to one of the sides and score it at 1 5/8. And just spin to the opposite side and do the same again, 1 5/8. Oh my goodness, it's because I'm hanging off the table here, I'm losing the grip. Hopefully that will behave itself. Right, let's go on. So we'll start doing our folds, get them all nicely creased up. Oops. Actually meant to fold that one out. So fold that wee one at the edge here out the way, just gently. And the rest of it fold in. And then this last wee one here, same opposite, fold it this way, but don't crease it down, just fold it. And then do these ones. So now we want to cut some away. I forgot a mark. If you go back into your score, you don't have to do this, but I find it a wee bit easier for me to do. Go into your center barrel here and move it along this crease line up to 5 inches, and then go back and mark this one at 1.5 inches. So there's 1.5 inches. And just bring it down to that first score line. So we'll want to keep this bit. Do the same at this side. You're going 1.5 inches, so it's up to 8, and down to that first score line. Spin it around and do the same. Line that up with a 5-inch mark, this central piece, and go down 1.5 inches, which is 3.5 inches, down to your line. And at this side, go to 8 inches, down to your line. And that's all you need to do. It's just my way of marking it for my cutting. So you don't necessarily could mark it with a pencil. Entirely up to you. So scissors. So this is going to be our center piece here. So we want to cut right down to here. No, yes, right down to here. I'll explain this bit to you in a minute. So just line up your scissors. And I'm just cutting sort of to the right of that ridge, just fractionally to the right of it. You want to cut right up past this to that central barrel there. And then we're cutting this bit away and keeping this wee one that you marked. So just use the mark to cut it off, and then you can just trim that bulk away. And that's what you're going to be left with. So we're going to do the same, and we're going to cut to the left of that ridge this time. I can line these scissors up with the hippie shakes in it. It is so dark outside, it's unbelievable. There must be a storm of brewing. The light has gone. So again, cut that up to there and go into your 1.5 inch mark from the center and cut that away. And remember to hold on to these pieces, you're going to need them. And again, just trim that slightly off so that you have no out bulk sitting there. Go round to the opposite side and do the same again. Right up to there, and then cut that off where you marked it. And again, cut in slightly to get rid of any bulk you've left behind. One more to do. Oops. So remember, hold on to those. You want to be punching your daisies out with that. And the same with your DSP. Hold on to a piece of it for one of the wee daisies. So that is your basic makeup of the box. We're going to put it like this. These will go on here, but at this stage I want to round those corners. I don't want to leave them. And I'll just use my old envelope punch board and use the rounder at the back of it. If you have a rounding punch, go ahead, use that. If you haven't, you can put a penny and draw around and trim it off yourself. But I will link the wee punch that's available, the corner rounder punch, in my list for you, in case you want to get it. So that's those all done. Where's my bin? I have the dog lying right under my chair here, having a wee snooze. As you can see inside there, I have 2 bars of Fry's cream. I made this perfectly, the measurements perfectly just to fit these. I make a lovely bag of this at least once a year, sometimes more. So I haven't given her one for a while. I haven't seen the creator for 2 months, which is 3 months actually from lockdown. She is 80, she'll be 81 this year, so you know, it's difficult to get out with her. Now, before I do this here, I want to add my DSP. So So make sure when you're sticking this on that you stick it, you know, so it the same designs at the top. If you've cut a wee bit less or more of the circles, make sure they're matching. So this is actually the top, so I want these ones here, and I'm going to use my claw glue or goo. You know, goo when you get it on your hands. So don't be overzealous like me. Just enough that you can slide it around into position easily, and that the ends aren't hanging off. So pop this in here. And we're going to do the same here. This part goes to the top. So now we have wee bits to make here and here for attaching the ribbon, and the ones that we're going to use are these wee bits here. It's about an inch, I think, just of your leftovers there. Yeah, it's an inch long and it's 1 5/8 wide. So you just want to chop those off. I am just going to hand cut them, not fussing about, just to this side of that ridge. So you're going to need 4 of those. Still hold on to the rest of that because you're going to need it. So there should be 4 left over from where you cut them away. Just those 4 wee inch long pieces. And if you have any like rough edges there, you can see the rough edge at the end, just chop that off. It's not worth keeping. Well, it doesn't make it look very nice. Just anywhere you're not happy. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to go and round these corners off now. So pull that over slightly. So just pop them all in. I'm doing all mine the one side because the other side seems to have got a bit messy. It's not punching. Maybe needs sharpened or something. So I'll have to punch a bit of foil or something. Sharpen it up a wee bit. So do your 4 edges anyway. Turn them all into nice rounded corners. I think it just finishes it all off better. Hope I'm not shaking you too much. I should really have done that over on the other table so it's not rattling you. One more. So that's the 4 done. Get rid of these messy bits. And you have the 4 wee pieces I was telling you about earlier that you cut, and these are going to fit directly on top of these to decorate it all up. So you can do that now if you want. Use glue or use turn tape, tape runner, whichever. I find the glue just lets me fiddle about till I get it nice and central. See what I mean? It takes me a bit. So you want to make 4 of those. So that's the 4 of those ready. And now we want to attach our ribbon, and for your ribbon we're going to use some sticky tape, and the ribbon's going to go here. These are going to sit at either side, right bang up to the edge on either side. So your ribbon's going to fit in underneath these, which hides it all from you. So what you want to do is put a piece of the tape and make sure it doesn't go over the edge where it's going to be seen. So a wee bit of tape at either side, no longer than your wee piece. Just in the centre of either side of that. And where's my pokey tail? You can tell that's not Stampin' Up. It's so hard to get the edges off. So I have cut myself 2 strips of the lovely cotton linen ribbon, and it's about 7 inches long. So I want this to line up here, and try and make sure that you do both sides the same, and make sure you curve that round. I hope I'm not out of picture for you. Curve it round so that it's all staying the one direction. You know, don't have to scoop it over like this. Keep it all like so, and try and put it to the same level and do it for both sides so that you're not losing out on it. So you don't want one going one way and it all turning. You won't want one longer than the other, so you have them all cut the same size. Try and keep them like that all the time. So now put your wet glue onto the wee panels, and you want a right wee bit of glue on this because it's holding the ribbon in place for you, so you don't want it slipping about. And then just line that up with your edge. Just keep going back to it and making sure it's taken, because ribbon doesn't generally like to be stuck. Oh, it's getting very dark in here, people. And make sure again that you've, as much as possible, the design shown about the same amount, you know, same size of circle at either side. Needs a good pressing. And then just turn around, and we're going to do the exact same here. Get your length of double-sided tape, line that up, help you to gauge where to put this. Might be a wee bit over, mightn't it? Yeah, just a fraction. I'm going to roll it in whenever I pull this off. Just going to roll that back before it sticks too much, and then it won't show. And then one at the other side. Just double check that one. Yeah, it seems fine. So remove that. Get your bit of ribbon again. Round to the other side and keep it more or less the same length if you can. Oops, I'm sticking to it, and then pop these wee panels on again. Want the bigger ones to the top. So line it up. Hope my head's not stuck in front of you here. And the same with the other way one. Oops. Sure they're all taken. Just giving that a good chance to take. So you could at this stage decorate your put your daisy on if you wanted, but we can do it in a minute, can't we? We'll make up the box. So you want to put glue on these big pieces. And then just line them up carefully so that the inner isn't shown. At both sides. Just make sure they're all lined up. And then we'll do the other side. Glue, come out please. So just do both sides. Right, and we're going to line these up the same. Now you could make your bag slightly smaller, or you know, this size, and whatever. I just wanted this side specifically to fit those wee bars. So that's it, more or less done. Oh, the one thing I forgot to tell you to do, which is really important, is run your bone folder so that you're actually curling the front of the bag in. And you can do it at any stage, it doesn't have to be before this, so probably easier. So you need to tip up the back and just like you're rolling it. And it gives it a wee curve. I haven't really got this one curved enough. You can nearly do it with your fingers, just you want it curved in so that these two pieces come together nicely. Put a wee bit of pressure and push down the waist. It gives it a wee bit of rounding. I don't want a big gaping bag at the top. I didn't want to have to put a strap over the top, and if I'd have rolled that better, it definitely would have worked. So maybe do that yourselves before you put it together. It really needs a good stiff. You see the curve coming in it now, which is the curve that I'm after. Totally forgot, sorry about that. But we're getting there now. It really makes a difference to the top. It brings those two together much nicer. Once I put my chocolate in, I have one bar here, I'll pop that in. They come in packs of 3, so I'm going to have to buy more of it. And just make sure it all comes nicely together, and then we're going to decorate it. So we need to do a bit of curling and fixing, and I've just pulled my tape off. Right, so we have these two larger ones done already, and you just want to curl their leaves. I'm just going to use my scissors with much more control. And curl them and then press them up the waist. And that gives you a nice wee flower shape. And this is the grapefruit, gorgeous grapefruit melting, gorgeous grape, which is a lovely, lovely colour. And these are the new in colours. No, sorry, the new brights. It's the in colour design that has come out this year. So you get it in the neutrals, the brights, the regals, and the subtles, and the naturals. So I'm going to, I think I joined those two just with glue. So I'll put these two together first. I go through this glue like a dose of salts. So line those up so that they're showing all the petals off, nicely centered. And then we're going to get 2 more. We need 2 of the small in the purple card, and this just about fits if you are very careful, which saves on any waste at all. So you need 2 of those. Just make sure there's no gaps, and if there is, what odds, you know, because flowers don't come perfectly formed. So roll these 2. And again, press them in towards the centre. Gives you that nice wee shape. In towards the centre, and we're going to glue these two together. And then we'll need one in the coloured DSP paper. So I'm actually going to attach these ones together using dimensional, just to give it a nice bump up. Just give them all a nice wee curl. So one more to do. Where's my DSP? And I'm actually going to use the opposite side. See how it comes out. But either way, you're going to punch it and you can use either side. So play around with it and see which suits you best. Those daisy punches are lovely. So I'll curl it to use this one and see how it goes. You can do it in the matching or not. I did it in the opposite and then I added the matching circle in the centre, which brought it all back in again. So that'll just sit there. I think it's nice enough, isn't it, against that? We'll just pop that one in. Make sure you get it positioned so that it's sort of in between them all. And again, fluff them up. And then get your wee 1/2-inch punch. What did I do with you? There you are. And again, some of your wee scraps. No point in wasting the whole line. And get one of your dots right in the middle there. And that gives it a wee design flair too. And to give that a nice roundness, I'm going to go onto my mat and just run the ball tool round. It's way over here so I can't show you, but it does give it a nice little rounding like so. And we're going to put a smaller dimensional. If you buy any of the lovely card kits, you always get a packet of these lovely smaller mini dimensionals, and they're great to hold on to. You'll use them for your card kit, but you'll always have some left over, so make sure and use them up. So I'm actually going to put another dimensional because I want a real lot of dimensional not sitting away out. And this is going to be our front, so we'll just pop this right in the centre. And now we need to do a nice wee tag. So for your tag, keep one of your leftover pieces again. We're going to round the corners of the bottom. And then you need a piece to match in, which I forgot to cut, in your Whisper White. And it needs to measure. I'm being very bold and just cutting it. So we know that's straight at the bottom, isn't it? Straight now. So it needs to be, I'm sure I wrote it down somewhere, the tag is Whisper White 1.5 inches wide by 2 1/8. So go to 1.5, and then we'll want to go with it straight at all. We'll just get that a wee straighten. And then we'll need to go to 2 1/8. I'll have all these measurements on the blog for you if you're interested. Alright, so again, round those corners at the bottom. And then we'll do our stamping before we punch it. So the stamps that I'm using, I have all taken out here, haven't I? We're using the wee saying that says, "You've been on my mind," which I think is perfect if you haven't been in contact with anybody. Now I've set that on the small block because I only want to do the first 3 words first and then the other one. So go to this end of your block and just, you've been on and stop there, just line that up so that you're just, and you'll see it change in colour, you know you've picked it up. So we'll go about there. Now it's important you clean that off before you go back in for your next one, so I'm just using the chamois. And we'll just move the stamp over because we're going to use my mind. You've been on my mind. So again, we just want the last 2 words inked up. Don't want that. And then just sort of center that. So that gives you a nicer way to use your dividing your words without actually having to cut your stamp, which is always a bonus. So we're going to stamp one of the wee butterflies, wee tiny one, just in the purple. Purple, gorgeous grape, I mean. And we want to stamp one separate so we can punch it out. I hope it goes through. I think I'll stamp it on a bigger bit so that I can feed it through. And we need to do the body and the antenna. The antenna will go on the card, the body will go on the punched bit. And there is a fat bit and a bottom bit slight, not so much noticeable on this one. And our antenna will go on the one that's already on your card. And now we just need to punch that out and attach it. So we're going to join these 2 up together. Just putting a wee bit of tape runner just to hold it in position so that I can punch them both out at the one time. So line them up there and then put it through your nice tag, topper scalp tag punch. Thread them through so you can center it with your fingers. You'll still be able to reach it, it's long enough. Just so that you get it centered. Hope for the best. Yeah, we just made it with that. The sentiments there were a wee bit high, to be honest. So now you need to punch your butterfly out. Where did I leave him? Here he is. This is the butterfly jet. So you get the large and the small butterfly, and luckily the small one is the first one, so you're not wasting any paper. If you stamped it towards your edge, oops, and it just flew away. So we're just going to bend that up at either side, so you've left with a wee ridge there to add a bit of glue, and I'm just going to put it to this side. And you can put your Wink of Stella on that to give it a wee bit of pizzazz. So when that dries, you can fluff up your wings again. And we're just going to attach that now to our bag using some of the lovely baker's twine. So we'll just thread it through here. I'll just thread it around the front in one shot here for you. And just give yourself enough that you can tie a wee bow. Just a wee mini bow. There's lovely silvery glitter goes through this, which is really nice. And that's you finished. Says you at last. Wasn't too bad. So there you have 2 lovely bags, perfect for gifting. I mean, you could fit anything in there. I have made them to suit my chocolate. You could add more wee butterflies about the place if you want to really go to town on it. But for the video's sake, this is as far as I'm going with it. You could add leaves to your flowers and stuff. But I'm loving the new paper. You're going to love it yourself. Get yourself a couple of packs of that and you get so many things out of it. And the gorgeous pack of ribbon. All the details will be down below, so I'll not torture you at the minute. Don't forget to pop up your wee butterfly so we sits up proud. So that's me done, and I'll catch you all later, and thanks for watching now. Bye.